no, this isn't like just a little bit of money here, but this is the 75396 Lego Star Wars set, the Sarlac Pit, or Desert Skiff and Sarlac Pit. And this set was going for $80 for the longest time. This was the release of, or this was a 2025 release set. And $80 was, not the right price. So, anyways, wouldn't have gotten that unless the price went down. I think the Lego.com website had it down to 63. But if you went on to Amazon, Target, or Walmart lately, they had it down to 55. So I thought, why not? I will get this set and build that and see how you guys are doing. Hey, Mac Builds Bricks is here. Psh! Mac, I saw you live streaming what would be early our time over here on the West Coast. Probably just more of a normal mid-morning for you, but good to see you live. I was going to jump on, but I had to get to work, so I didn't join on the live. But how's it going with the build and the Death Star? Maz Alive says, is son still off to Lego College? Maz Alive, you snooze, you lose, man. You missed him. He was on the Saturday live stream. Max says, it's cool. Yeah, and thanks again, Mac, for your review, or kind of like your response / comment / review on the UCS Death Star. That was great. Lots of good feedback. In fact, you made me reconsider. You made me reconsider the UCS Millennium Falcon with all the panels you talked about, because how frustrating that could be for. Well, not frustrating. It'd definitely be a challenge, but I think for me it'd be frustrating. Max says, I'm on bag 64 out of 81. Look out. Less than 20 to go. That is crazy. It's fine. You just have to be real careful is all. I know, and I know that about me. I've built a couple of smaller Technic builds, and the one thing I remember is if you mess up on those type of builds, you can't simply take a couple bricks off and redo something. You have to take the darn thing apart basically and redo. So if that was on a giant UCS set, oh my gosh, with that I wouldn't give up on it, but I might give up on it for a few days and come back to it. But hey, that model deserves some time to build. Wendy says, hello, Wendy. Psh, welcome, Lieutenant Shorty. Psh, good to see you. All right. So I'm building 75396. This is a 558 piece set. So I'm slowly getting to this point where I've done a lot of, I guess, mid-range to small range builds, kind of going back to the MIDI scale Falcon. So Mac, when I was again referring to the UCS build of Millennium Falcon, even that one I had to kind of work on the panels. So a large scale set like that, a UCS scale site like that might drive me crazy, but I don't know. I've never had a UCS set though, so that might be. Oh, there's so much things to consider. It still might just be a challenge, but a fun challenge at that. Max says, I'm rebuilding my UCS Millennium Falcon, and I'll send you a pic of what it currently looks like. Oh, sweet. Please do. And it's easy if you want to on our community page on our YouTube channel. You can post right there. If you want to send it a different way. We also have a Discord, Mac, but that would be cool just to see what the build is like. When it comes to large scale sets, rebuilding them, like Ninjago City, I've rebuilt that a couple times, and I'm trying to think if I've ever done another large scale set in the thousands and thousands of piece range. We also have the Hogwarts Castle, and I think that is. Oh, I should look that up. I can't remember now. How many pieces is the Hogwarts Castle? I had to rebuild that one because we had moved and just parts of it fell apart, and trying to repair the sections that had fallen apart kind of became frustrating. It took more time than it should have, and so I ended up just taking the whole thing apart and rebuilding, which was the better choice, just because there's so many small pieces that needed to be reconnected and all that. So that one's 6,000 pieces. Okay. So I've rebuilt something that scale. So yeah, I was thinking in terms of rebuilding, I almost want to rebuild the Rivendell and the Barad-dûr only because my son built those. He did a great job, but I want to experience those builds. So that's how cool it is to Lego collect. You got to build the sets 100%. That's part of the fun. And this has stickers that we never put on. I don't know if I will, but we never put on stickers. I don't even know if you would notice unless you looked up close. But yes, building the big sets, having the experience your own is totally fun. So that is cool. Rebuilding the Millennium Falcon, the UCS Millennium Falcon. Nice. Mac builds bricks. Michaela, welcome. And never too old for Lego. What is up? Welcome. So building 75396. I said I was kind of on this run of these kind of mid-scale size. I don't know if you can see them all. These mid-scale size sets, these diorama sets right here. So everything kind of, less than, well, I think this one, yeah, this one was an even 1,000 pieces, the trash compactor set. So, nothing to take for granted, but I think I'm working my way towards breaking out one of the modulars that we have. I got the Tudor Corner modular at the start of this year. So January 2025, I think, is when it was released, and have not built that. I also have one other modular set. So that'd be cool to have another big set here to build. And then as we get close to Christmas, then I don't know. Then we'll see. We'll see if the UCS set shows up or not. But yeah, welcome to the live stream. If you like Lego and you like talking Lego, please join the chat and click on this guy right here. Stay for as long as you want. Leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe and click on our little Brick Therapy sig fig here, guy. You can see if you ever get into Lego, you'll probably want to design one of these for yourself on the Lego.com website or at the Lego store itself. You can make these custom signature figs or sig figs, and you can see, I don't know if you can see it clearly, but on the torso there it says BrickTherapy23, and that's me and my son. And actually liked the experience so much that I might have to give my son bigger legs at some point, but for now that's how it's going. I liked it so much that we made a sig fig for my entire family. I'll have to show that off sometime. Although you could see it, I think you can see it in our second to most recent long form video if you want to check that out. Jake Stop Motion is here. Welcome. Ivan Arroyo is here. Jake Stop Motion says, in school, sig figs are significant figures. Very cool. Jake Stop Motion says, yes, right. They are significant. But, but yeah, to me, they're signature figs because it's your signature. It's like, it's you. But now, oh yeah, that was a cliffhanger from yesterday. Time to get Lando out and build bag 2 of this set here, 75396, the Desert Skiff Sarlac pit. Let's get out bag 2. There's bag 2. Somewhere in there is my favorite, one of my favorite Star Wars minifigs. Back in the summer, we got that question a lot. What is your favorite minifig? Aside from your own sig fig. What is your favorite minifig? For Star Wars, I couldn't think of it right away, but I said, probably this guy right here. Boba Fett's pretty cool. We said Captain Rex from the Clone Wars. I'm trying to think. What did my son? He has another favorite sig fig. I couldn't name him. I think it was another clone figure. There's a lot you can name from Star Wars, to be honest. But I think Lando Calrissian's got to be on the top there, at least for me. So I'm going to build this guy. Ivan says, I'm looking forward to my December 11th birthday present. Yes, Ivan, you've been hinting at that. The UCS Death Star is coming your way. So I guess no surprises there, huh, Ivan? You know for sure that is what you're getting for your birthday. That is literally huge. That is going to be so much fun. And if you happen to catch Mac's channel or some other review of that set. I think you're going to enjoy it. And the only bummer is, well, not a bummer because it's a present, so it's not a big deal. But the only bummer is you won't get that gift with purchase anymore. Lego Timmy, good to see you. Saw you on your live stream as well. Thanks for joining us here for a little bit, or for as long as any of you guys have time for. Make sure you leave a like and click on the BrickTherapy23 guy here. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new to our channel. Love having you guys here and talking about this build here, the Desert Skiff Sarlac Pit, and about to build Lando Calrissian, one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. And now let's make him in his minifig form. Even the helmet's cool. It's almost like a samurai helmet. This helmet that he has of a disguised bounty hunter. So pretty sweet. And I can't find his torso. We dig through here a bit. There wasn't much to bag 2, unless there's 2 numbered bag 2s, but I don't think there were. So as I was saying before, working on these mid-scale size sets, thinking I should, after I finish this one, this is 558 pieces, go back to bringing out a large scale set and possibly a modular. So as we get closer to Christmas, maybe that would be fun. Or of course it would be fun. Of course, the gingerbread AT-AT is waiting in the background here. But yeah, maybe a modular set. I don't think I've built one, but it's been quite a while. We have the I don't think this is the right name, but it's the Corner Cafe. It's like the French Corner Cafe. Mac Builds Brick says, okay, gonna lurk for a bit. No worries, Mac. Thank you for just joining and leaving a comment saying hi. Ivan says, I'm very excited while I'm building it. I'll be all, oh, cool, Ivan. So you'll be excited when you get the UCS set, and you're gonna be watching Brick Therapy as you build. That'll be awesome. You can give us up-to-date highlights of your build as you listen to our live stream, and I can repeat it for everyone. Yeah, very cool, Ivan. So I was going to say, it's not a bummer, but I guess you'll miss out on the gift with purchase. And again, I guess if whoever's buying you that gift, if they buy the set right now, double VIP points on a $1,000 set. I think it's 6,500 VIP or insider points. I'm still using the old school terminology. Yeah, it's 6,500 insider points for the UCS Death Star. So if you buy it within the next week or so, you'd get 13,000 insider points. So that is the equivalent of a $100 discount. So that would drop your set price down to $900. That kind of sounds pretty decent. Of course, it's Lego insider points coming back to you, so it would be a $100 discount on a future Lego set, but still 13,000 insider points if you were to buy that set on Lego.com right now or at the Lego store and get the double insider points for the UCS Death Star. 13,000 points. That's pretty impressive. There he is. There's Lando. Let me hold him up better than that. There's our next favorite minifig. How's he look to you guys? He's got a cool, pretty fierce-looking medieval spear/axe weapon there. No arm printing from what I can tell. And he's got kind of armored torso. But, you know, the one thing that's missing, I probably could find it somewhere, is there's no hairpiece. So how else can I prove this is Lando? It's got to have the cool Billy D. Williams, I think is the actor's name. You got to have the cool hairpiece, but there he is. No hairpiece, so you got to give him the samurai helmet. But nevertheless, it's still Lando. Lando is a minifig. Very cool. Of course, the proper looking Mando or Lando Calrissian would be the one from Cloud City. Actually, I should look that up. I don't even know. I'm just assuming he came as a minifigure in that set. Jake Stop Motion says, "Ooh, I missed the live stream last night. I was at work. I'm excited for the Desert Skiff." Thanks, Jake. Yeah, so far so good. I have only built up the base, and my guess is this kind of Technic looking lever here is going to be on the Skiff portion where, you know, I can launch Luke out as if he was going off the plank, but maybe it's for the Sarlac too. Maybe it operates the tentacles that come out. This set actually reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember the first Marvel set, the Doctor Strange Marvel set of him. Oh gosh, what was it? I don't remember what the name of the set was, but it had something that went into the multiverse, kind of arms and thing looking. All right, I can't think of the terminology, so I need to look that up. What was that Marvel set with Doctor Strange? Because it's reminding me of that set. It wasn't a big set like the one that the Sanctum Sanctorum, like the giant house one, but it was a lot smaller. And gosh, where is it? I need to look it up. So give me a second here. Doctor Strange. I don't know how many sets came out with Doctor Strange, or ones that were just focused on him. It was something like, oh, okay, it was like the Gargantos kind of thing with the tentacles. I don't know if it was like a time-related beast, but yeah, I don't think it was Gargantos Showdown. Was it that one? Anyway, this reminds me of that. It's got the what am I trying to think? Tentacle things that come out. Anyway, I'm losing my sense of fictional vocabulary here. Jake Stop Motion's here. It's got to go. Jake Stop Motion, thanks for stopping by. Leave a like. Ivan says, will do. I'll be giving you highlights as I build. It says Ivan. He looks really cool. The minifig, like the Lando Calrissian. The Sarlacc pit was a gift with purchase with the Lego UCS Jabba sail barge. Really? Was it this one or something else? This one? That'd be amazing if it was. Yeah. I think the lightsaber came with the Jabba sail barge. Ivan, didn't the lightsaber build come with it as a gift with purchase? This one would be too much of a gift with purchase because that would be $80. But you know what? I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure though that it was a lightsaber that came with the Jabba sail barge. And I want to say John Powell, if he's still listening, if John Powell, I think you said you got that UCS set, but that was, or seeing that initially, I thought, oh, it's a pretty good build. I don't think I'll get it. This set stood out to me more, I think, just because it comes with, you know, a lot of these old school Star Wars characters or figs, and so I thought, how fun would it be, or not would it be, how fun is it to get these sets with all the Star Wars characters from the first trilogy. Like, so you got Bib Fortuna here. This is from the Boba Fett throne room. You've got Bib Fortuna. You've got the guard here that used to be those guys that guarded Jabba the Hutt. Let me look up the name. It was something I couldn't pronounce very well. Of course, you've got Boba Fett and Lando Calrissian. Let me look at the box here. These guard guys, what are they called? The Gamorrean. Is that right? The Gamorrean guards. These guys right here. Whoops. Another Boba Fett, of course. The Gamorrean guards. And then if you look at this diorama sets, of course, this one you got Yoda right here. And then, of course, I keep throwing these out here. The trash compactor set with the old school Han, Luke, and Leia. Or not old school because they got the Star Wars armor. But a lot of fun. Minifigures from these newer kind of throwback sets that give you a chance to get these old Star Wars minifigures, especially those of us who have missed out on the early 2000s Lego sets. Seems like there was quite a heyday back then when you had those Lego sets come out. Quite a lot of good sets that have still stood their quality of build and detail and everything. But now if I look at our collection today, I think I'm pretty pretty stoked we got what we got. John Powell says, yes, it was the Luke's, I can't talk today. It was Luke's lightsaber. Maybe it's because of the tongue twister. Luke's lightsaber that was the gift of purchase that came with the UCS Jabba's barge. And then you had to buy the pit separate. Yeah, so this has always been a separate set. Ricky Bricks, psh, hello, welcome. Ivan says, oh, my bad. It was the Luke lightsaber. I think that lightsaber's come out a couple times, hasn't it, for as a gift with purchase or one like it. And I don't think I've got to look back on our sets that we haven't built yet. What am I trying to say? Look back on our backlog. Look back on our backlog. I probably can't say it because it doesn't sound right. It's like extra redundant. Look back on our backlog and see if I got that. I don't think we did. I know one May the 4th, I got the battle droids that come in like episode 1 and one of their delivery tanks or vehicles, and got some like commemorative coin or something like that I could care less about. And yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten the lightsaber, but that's fun. I don't know if that would be something that interests me too much to begin with. I like when the gift with purchases are basically another Lego build with minifigures. Minifigures are the thing for me. And it looks like I put some pieces on the wrong side. So let me make a correction here. So this is making me think, okay, the UCS Millennium Falcon. Matt gave me a really good overview on his experience of building both the Millennium Falcon and the UCS Death Star so far. And those are sets that just require a lot of, well, actually, no, maybe the UCS Millennium Falcon more so, but they require, obviously, good attention to detail. And the challenging part will be with the Millennium Falcon, because there's some Technic builds that go with that. So just thinking about that set and building it and the patience that will be required. If you've ever built a Technic set, if you make a mistake and, you know, place a couple bricks in the wrong spot, or Technic, I don't know if you call Technic pieces bricks, but if you put some Technic rods in the wrong spot, you're in for a fun challenge of taking the whole thing apart and trying to rebuild. So I've done that with smaller Technic sets, and I can say, you know, Lego building's fun, but when it gets to that kind of situation, it can also be pretty frustrating. So I've never built a large scale Lego Technic build. So I don't know if the UCS Millennium Falcon qualifies that for 100% being Technic build, but it does look very involved. So, and I know placement of it in some areas is going to be a challenge. But hey, it's a UCS set. It's supposed to be a pretty thorough build. Okay, I think this might be the Sarlac pit now that I'm looking at what is going on here. It kind of looks like the part of the mouth or something. So building up the Sarlac pit base, not the Skiff, I think. Ivan says, yeah, you had to buy the Sarlac pit separately. Larry, welcome. Ivan says, all right, everybody, I have to go. Psh, Ivan, again, keep us posted. That'll be exciting when you get the UCS Death Star. That's going to be amazing. Ricky Brick says, minifigures in the pit are good. Ricky Brick, psh, yes, they are. They are. I like so far, of course, you know, you can't go wrong with Boba Fett there. And then I was saying over and over again, favorite being Lando Calrissian in the disguised bounty hunter outfit here. So looking at what's new for Lego, I noticed a couple of, well, maybe just one leak so far, but they've had out for a while the Back to the Future, almost like a UCS size set, the Back to the Future car with, of course, the two main characters, Doc and Michael J. Fox's character. I forgot his name, but that was another cool movie from the 80s. And it looks like, if you're into Speed Champions builds or just the movie itself, but it looks like they're releasing a Speed Champions size version of the Back to the Future car. So that looks really cool. That might be worth considering. I don't really collect Speed Champion builds, but that might be a fun one to get because of the throwbacks. Another throwback movie theme from the 80s that goes with Lego. And then you get the same two minifigures. They might be a little different, but the bigger set that came out and has been out for a while, I think it's like a $200 set. I know it's done pretty well, and obviously a popular set, but $200 for a giant Mandalorian kind of build car. If you are really into cars, it probably is fun to have. But I like the Speed Champions version. Only $28 for a build like that versus $200. So just another thing to keep your eye out on if you're into different Speed Champions sets. And one that is a cool movie from the 80s theme. So yeah, the Speed Champions Mandalorian from the Back to the Future is gonna, I guess, 2026 set coming out. And of course, double insider points all this week. If you have some last minute, Christmas shopping to do, or not last minute, but maybe last minute Lego Christmas shopping to do to try and take advantage of these things, insider points, like the Captain Jack Sparrow ship, still on back order. Crazy. But these big scale sets, we're talking double insider points. So if you get that set, you're getting 8,000 insider points basically. So probably the equivalent of about maybe 60, about $65 in insider points. It's a pretty sizable discount. 8,000 points if it's double. So lots to consider. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the new sets coming out. And then I was looking also, like, for double insider points, what would be something to get with a high threshold? But I don't know. If I'm getting this UCS set, of course, if I got the UCS Millennium Falcon, I was saying already that there it is. There is the, darn it, and I just clicked on something and lost it. But I was already saying that the UCS Death Star for double insider points, that would amount to $100 in insider points. So like 13,000 points. There it is. It's called the Time Machine from Back to the Future, $27.99. Already available for pre-order. And of course, you get that's fun. The Michael J. Fox character. Forgot his name in the movie, but he's got the old school cushy snow coat vest or whatever you want to call it, and then of course the Doc from the movie. Ricky Brick says, the new one looks cool. I pre-ordered. Oh, very cool. Ricky, are you talking about the Speed Champions one? If so, or whatever, it's going to be cool. But yeah, definitely, if you got that, if you pre-order that, it's such a great price. Now you don't have to buy this giant $200 Mandalorian one. I mean, it looks like a cool build. Nice. Ricky Brick says that's the one. Yes. Ivan says, I guess before he signed off, he says, will do. I will keep you posted on the Lego UCS Death Star. Awesome. Ricky Brick says, I like the Millennium UCS, but prefer the smaller size. Yeah, that was a good point. I was talking about that earlier, just as the start of the live stream, Ricky Bricks, with the Millennium Falcon. The UCS one is going to be Mac Builds Bricks gave me a really good overview of kind of the experience with that compared to the UCS Death Star and just building UCS sets in general, and what's involved with the build and some parts that can be possibly pretty frustrating for a large scale set. So things to consider if you're gonna, invest all that money. If you're gonna invest all that money. And then there's another thing to pay attention to in terms of buying this week. If you do get a Lego set, Rakuten's at the 3% threshold for cash back on anything you buy through Lego. So that's, worth considering. Maybe about, depending on the size of set you get, maybe could be like a $5 or $10 or $20 return of cash back, not insider points, just straight cash back to you through PayPal. So the Millennium Falcon, UCS Millennium Falcon, is, just out of curiosity, is worth, where is it? Give me the insider point value. It's $850. What's the insider point? Oh, okay, there we go. So close. So regularly 5,525 insider points. You buy it now. Talking to myself, I guess 11,050 points. So, gosh, probably, so 6,500 points is about $50. So maybe, yeah, close to $80 in discount. So again, that takes it down. It looks a lot more digestible when $850 becomes $780 or something like that. John Powell says, the points are okay for really big sets. They don't go on sale. Exactly. For the regular sets, there will be lots of better deals elsewhere during the next month. Yes, good point, John Powell. Yeah, that's why I was kind of looking on the double insider points. If you're basically looking for a large scale set, you're gonna max out and get a $25 discount or more, probably, depending on what you get. Yeah, and then of course you spend the big money, you get into those high amounts of insider points, like the UCS sets. Ricky Brick says, I sold my UCS Razor Crest to a guy that had the UCS Millennium Falcon, and he says the build, it started to become too much work. Oh, as he talking, so the UCS Millennium Falcon, to him, the build was becoming more tedious than anything. So it sounds like maybe the point where he didn't even want to finish it. Guessing from his sentiment he expressed to you, which I could see that. Those UCS sets are impressive for a reason. And although I think I'm thinking that the UCS Death Star actually is a pretty doable build, judging from Mac Builds Bricks. Again, going back to what he said, he says that set's probably more like a master builder set than an ultimate collector series type of set, period, because obviously it's got the play scale value with all the minifigures and all the diorama parts to it, so it can be a play set as well as just a big display, but definitely not as intense a build as compared to the Millennium Falcon. So that's good to know. I did watch one person. I really appreciate his point of view. Of course, a lot of people do. Jane Bricks did a review on the UCS Millennium Falcon. I think maybe a year ago. Actually, it was pretty recent, which was really good because fresh point of view on that build. Not like when it came out, right when it came out 7 years ago, but more fresh point of view. And he really enjoyed it. And I've never seen, well, I've seen him give a pretty rave review, a really positive review on sets before, but this one he was like, he was really into it. And so I guess those type of reviews where someone's not going to say you should buy this, but you could tell just from his sentiments, like, this is a great set, it's amazing, and for many reasons it's it's one worth having in your collection if you have the means, of course. So I guess the thought is, what are some sets, if you're going to get if you have the means to get a UCS set, is that what you want the most? Or there's maybe 3, maybe even 4 sets you'd rather get that are on a wish list? So I always like to look back on my Lego wish list. You can set that up on Lego.com. If you're a Lego insider, you can start creating a wish list of sets. Are there 3 or 4 sets I'd rather have than just this giant UCS set, which would be cool, but does it outweigh what you get for your money if you obviously get a variety of sets? And that's also a compelling reason to decide. You're going to commit a sizable amount of money to a Lego set. Being a Lego collector is the thing though. Like if you're a Lego collector, you are regularly building sets, you're adding to your collection, you appreciate the quality of the product and the build, and you enjoy these sets, having them on display. Like there's a full investment of time and a satisfaction in having a hobby that you put a lot of money into, and then, like I said before, put time into. And so the whole thing is just gives you back some joy and fun in having the hobby. And so that's why you can spend more money than most on Lego. It's not just kind of a passing thing that you might like for a little while. Like some people do buy these big expensive Lego sets, but it's a one-off. They like a certain set or theme because it's a favorite part of a movie, or just the build itself is really captivating. I think maybe one example would be like one of those Disney castles, so something like that. But for us who collect Lego on a regular basis, this is the time where it's really enjoyable to have these big sets. It's a blessing to have these big sets and build them, and then have them in your collection. And of course, talking with you guys, you have similar experiences. All right, Sarlac pit's starting to look like part of a Sarlac pit. Maybe some insight into what it was like with these guys when they fell into the pit itself. John Powell says, I don't think there are 4 regular sets I would take over the Falcon. It's a #1 all time. Ooh, I like that, John Powell. So there's a good counterpoint to consider. So if I go on my wish list and something, with the equivalent of the $900 price range, we'll just round up a little bit because, after paying taxes and everything, it's not the amount you see there. Unless you're in Europe, then you get to pay the amount you see. But I got 2 wish lists. I got one wish list that is titled The Best. Like these are the sets that I would call must-haves if I were to only have, if I could only limit myself to the final sets ever that were ever going to be made. These would be the best, although you guys would probably disagree on some of them. And then some of these I have already. Like I put Optimus Prime in that was one. Any of the Ninjago modulars. Of course, the City Markets is retiring this year, so that would be one. The Natural History Museum, another modular. There's the Avengers Tower. Rivendell and Bardor, of course, are in that one. The Venator, Bumblebee, and there's a few others. The Ninjago City Workshops, the latest modular, I don't have that. Now, some of these, obviously, there's no way I could put 3 of these together and compare the price, because like one of these and maybe one small set or one other set already adds up to $900. But when I look at the ones I have in my best list, there's some Star Wars ones, there's a couple other random ones. There's actually I like the Fortnite Battle Bus, just because of the look of the build itself. I don't care or I don't want to say offend anyone, but I could care less about Fortnite. But I just like the build. It's a fun build. minifigs, everything about it, the kind of the hot air balloon attachment. It just looks like a fun build. Haven't seen it up close. I think I probably make up my mind on that one if I saw it built up at the Lego store. Maybe that would change my mind. But there are some other fun must-have sets here. The Lion Knights Castles, another one that's retiring. That would be fun. But okay, so that'd be a $400 set. So I could really only get maybe 2 large-scale sets at that price range. But I could get the Lion Knights Castle. I could get the Ninjago City Market. So that's around 800. And I could still get a pretty decent set like a Transformer. So Soundwave kind of pushing me over the edge there with $190 price range. But that's 3 sets. Now, are those 3 sets, is the Lion Knights, a Ninjago City Markets, and a Soundwave Transformer better than having a UCS set? So I'm starting to think that way in more specifics. I know we've talked about what that money means in terms of what kind of Lego you could get. So specifically, those might be some considerations. So thank you for the 13 likes. Sorry, I was kind of thinking through some stuff and not building, but it's fun to have the conversation with you guys. So slowly building up bag number 2, 75396 of the Desert Skiff Sarlac Pit. But talking Lego, talking UCS sets, what is worth the time and money? Is it still a UCS set, or is it a combination of other sets? So there's the 2 minifigures there together so far. Not on the, definitely not friends in this storyline, of course, Boba Fett and Lando Calrissian, but both bounty hunters outfits, at least in this part. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, John Powell makes a good point. I don't think there are 4 regular sets I would take over the Falcon, so that's good. And John Powell, you have the experience of building up that set, which is also valuable. You know, it's very helpful to me because considering the build itself, I have to look. I was at the Lego store at least once before where I saw, no, maybe twice, where I saw the UCS Millennium Falcon, you know, built up on display in the display window. And man, does it look impressive. So I gotta, you know, if I have that cash in hand, I'm at the Lego store and I see that set, you know, waiting on the shelf, or 2, 3, maybe 4 other sets that are also on my wish list. But I see that UCS Millennium Falcon built up and on display. I'm thinking my eyes are drawn to that right away. John Powell says, yeah, name 3 sets for 1,000 better than the Falcon. Not possible. Yeah, when I threw those 3 together, exactly, John Powell, I'm like, okay, so Lion Knights Castle, that's pretty cool. The Ninjago City Markets, that's pretty cool. And then it kind of downgrades from there. Because I think those Transformer builds are cool, but you know, it's always, there's always certain Lego sets that just wow you. Ninjago City, the first Ninjago City modular was the set that recaptured my love and desire to start building Lego again. Once I got back into Lego with my son and helped him build up a couple sets, and then I started looking, and we went to the Lego store, and I just saw what large scale sets were. I had a new appreciation for how amazing and detailed they can be, and that Ninjago City really was like, that is just so cool. And to me, I mean, I still think that set looks and feels like, especially when you pick it up and move it, kind of like Rivendell over here. You pick these sets up and move them, you're like, this this is something special when it comes to Lego collecting. So again, what I need to do is consider what Legos, you know, just strictly keeping that money dedicated to Lego, not some other random thing, but $900 committed to that Lego budget. What would be more compelling, the UCS set or 3 or 4 other sets that equal that same price range? And then look at the look at the Lego UCS Death Star built up on display. I've seen it at the Lego store. I know I've put it in a couple of my videos. Seeing that set on display. The other fun part, of course, of the minifigures, you get 2 sets of flight crews, or basically 2 versions of piloted crews for that ship, right? You get the, who do you get in that? So you get the, let me look it up again. You get the, I think is it the Force Awakens crew? So you get Rey, and you get an older Han Solo, and some of those guys, or you get the, I guess you'd call them the original flight crew to the Star Wars the first trilogy. So let's see. Okay, you get, oh, I thought it was more than that. So it's basically 7 minifigures plus the Minoc, whatever that thing is. I'd rather have a minifigure than that creature. And 2 little droids, the Porg and the volleyball looking one. I forget what his name is. But yeah, you get an old Han Solo, you get a young Han Solo, you get Chewie. I guess the Chewie could swap out for either version of the flight crew. You get Leia in her probably her Planet Hoth outfit. So from the Empire Strikes Back look, you get C-3PO, and you get Rey from Force Awakens, I want to say, and the other guy, I don't want to say his name because he's annoying. But yeah, you get basically two flight crews. Mr. Bot, hello, welcome. Mr. Bot says, tomorrow I have a quiz. John Powell says, sorry, but to me, every Ninjago set combined wouldn't touch the Falcon. John Powell, sorry, not sorry. But it's fun. We can definitely agree to disagree on that one. Ninjago City is my favorite. Ninjago the theme, I don't really follow, but just those Ninjago City modulars, and of course it goes back to a time where there's obviously some nostalgia too. That was a set that just meant so much. I got that when my kids were really small, and we all celebrated like we had won the lottery when I got that set, and we carried it home. It was a fun time. So there's several reasons, but just as a build itself, I love that set. If it was a decision where, oh, you can only have Ninjago City or the Millennium Falcon, no, it's gonna sound crazy, but Ninjago City is my favorite set. So enough said there. John Powell's like, oh, probably cringing as I say that, but yep, Ninjago City is my favorite one. Nothing compares for nostalgia reasons, and just in terms of, I've rebuilt that set a few times and just love it. Have it on display. Not in this room. I had it on display back here before. I'll have to bring it out again, but that's a set I have to actually rebuild again. So, but in terms of buying large scale sets, there hasn't really been a set that has made me so interested and excited to get a large scale Lego set as the first Ninjago City. I think the Millennium Falcon, Rivendell Rivendell's another one. And then after that, it's just been collecting Lego. There's a lot of fun Lego builds to collect, but gosh, I don't know. There was just something about Ninjago City, and then a close second to all that in terms of just the excitement of like, oh, having that set would be just the best to have in my collection. And when I got Ninjago City, it was in the box for like another year. I didn't want to, or maybe 6 months or so. I just didn't want to build it. It was just too much time thinking about it, shopping around for it. I think I'd seen it maybe go on discount once, and it wasn't that much money. And then finally, when Lego offered this piddly gift with purchase, it was like a police ATV and like a Lego policeman, but it was still a GWP. So I'm like, fine, I'll get this now. I want to get this set before it retires. And so I'm glad I did, because I think this set retired that year. It was like 2018. So yeah, that just set means a lot. But I think, I don't know, I think that UCS Millennium Falcon could, you know, measure up. I don't think it'll take the place of the Ninjago. But then again, if you really like Star Wars, then I could see why that would be the best. Mr. Bot says Ninjago is an excellent one, or excellent license. I think Lego Marvel is underrated. Oh, good point. Good point, Mr. Bot. John Powell says, okay, first, those are not modulars. Well, I mean, they are in the sense that you can connect them at the base. They have the connectors at the base, and they can connect to the city. Unless, and they have different layers that you could take apart. At least the first Ninjago, but that's my understanding of it. Yeah, Mr. Bot, when you say the Lego Marvel is underrated, that, you know, that's another point. What came to mind when you said that is the Avengers Tower. I guess you could say that's a UCS scale set as well. The Avengers Tower is a good one. We're at 14 likes. All right, Mr. Bot, you should just join. Please leave a like if you haven't. And thanks for all those just hanging out in the background, maybe just listening to the build as we talk about Lego, as John Powell and I have a back and forth discussion on what is possibly the best Lego set in terms of scale, size, money, and holding on to for your collection. Best Marvel minifigure for you, Mr. Bot asked. I think probably Iron Man. There was an older Marvel set that came out before all the MCU sets came out, but I think it was probably a 2017 set. Let me see if I can find it, but not just Iron Man. It was the Space Iron Man minifigure, and let me see if I can find him, because that set was actually, talking about nostalgia, that was the first Lego set I officially bought as a new adult fan of Lego. So a new AFOL, and that was the first set I got. So this is cool that you asked that, Mr. Bot. Yeah, so Lego Space Iron Man. He came in set number 76049, the Avenged Jet Space Mission. So the Space Lego Iron Man, so he's got like more of a white titanium looking armor and gold faceplate. So I think he's got the Tony Stark face with a mustache. But yeah, Lego Space Iron Man. Fun question, Mr. Bot. DNM Bricks, psh, welcome, welcome. It goes well. Talking some favorite sets here. Talking what would be the best Lego set for your money with the equivalent of a UCS price set while I build 75396, the Desert Skiff and Sarlac pit, this set right here. And basically building up the Sarlac pit right now. And of course, built right out of bag 2. My favorite guy out of this, even probably better than, well, I don't know. I can't say that. My favorite character, let's just say that. Lando Calrissian. So, just great characters in those movies. John Powell says nothing measures up to the UCS Millennium Falcon. If you're talking the equivalent price range of having, roughly $900 to get the UCS Millennium Falcon, could you come up with a list of 3 or 4 other sets that if you weren't going to spend the money, the $900 on the UCS set, what could you get that would be just as good? A combo of 3 or 4 other large scale sets that would be just as good as getting the UCS Millennium Falcon. And John Powell very definitively said nothing could match up to that. Not one set. And I was thinking, as I looked at my old wish list, is there something that could? And I was, looking at it. There's the Lion Knights Castle. There's the Ninjago City Workshops, which to me are like, all the Ninjago type modular builds. But John Powell said those are not on the level of getting a UCS Millennium Falcon. I don't even think he said those are good. He just said those are not on the level. So to me, I'm like, I don't know. What could I do? But I think he's right in that sense. I don't think there'd be 3 or 4 sets I could think of right now that I'd get to that could be better than just getting the UCS Millennium Falcon for the same price range. That Avengers Tower does look really cool though, Mr. Bot. I think that would be a pretty darn good set to have. That one would be, what is that one? $500 though. So that would be, let me look. The Avengers Tower is, yeah, $500 basically. So that would leave me about $400 to spend. So for then, I'd probably get the Natural History Museum. So that is one of the modulars that'll probably retire soon. The Avengers Tower, that would leave me with, let's see, $800. So $50. And then, yeah, I don't know. It'd be a hard one to say that those 2 sets could take out in terms of quality and fun, and for your collection, those 2 together could be better than the UCS. Definitely not. Mr. Bot says, my favorite set in Lego is the Batcave from 2000. Hey, no worries, Mr. Bot. That's pretty good. Perdón mi inglés, estoy en proceso de aprendizaje. No, you're doing good, Mr. Bot. I get you. So your favorite Lego would be the Batcave from 2000. I don't know that set. I have to look that one up. Tomorrow, wish me luck for my quiz. All right, Mr. Bot. See you tomorrow. Deseame suerte para el quiz. I wish you luck, my friend. Good luck on the quiz tomorrow. Thank you for joining the live stream. All right. So let's see here. Bag 2 is done. And we got 2 minifigures here. I'll put on display. And see what the preview is for bag 3 here. So there we go. There's those 2 guys. We got a very cool looking Boba Fett with the arm printing, the helmet. Very old school looking Boba Fett. I really like these minifigures. And yeah, Boba Fett's better than Lando. I just like Lando because he's a cool character and it's fun to have him in a minifig, at least for this one. So, and then preview tomorrow. Bag 3, we get the Jedi Luke. The Jedi Luke coming out next. So thanks for watching, guys. DNM Brick says, off to bed soon. Drop a like. Yes, sir. Thank you guys for watching. This concludes the live stream. So you timed it well, DNM Bricks. Thanks everyone for joining the live stream on your Tuesday evening. See you hopefully tomorrow. Wednesday is always another one of these weird busy days where sometimes I get back late. So we'll see if I can live stream later in the day. But if you like Lego, don't forget to leave a like. Click on our Brick Therapy sig fig here. Leave a like and join the chat when you can. Thanks for watching as we continue this build of 75396, the Desert Skiff Sarlac Pit of Star Wars. And then I'm thinking my next build after this one's gonna go fairly quickly. A couple more live streams of breaking out one of the modulars, maybe the Tudor Corner or something like that, and that will maybe help me rethink. Oh wait, maybe these modulars are a lot better than what I remember because I haven't built one up in quite some time. But thanks, you guys. Have a good one. Have a great rest of your day.